Everybody, welcome to the Wildlife Theater Show. I'm Andy and I'll be your host this afternoon. So today we are going to travel all across North America and learn about some of our native species. Now we are at the San Francisco Zoo and you guys came here because you guys want to meet some animals, right? So let's get started with our first animal. So our first one you can find around here. You can see him flying around or maybe perched on some telephone wire. So, I'd like to introduce you guys to a bird, actually. So you can find him. He has a very pretty. He's actually really small. So, let's bring out. He has really small. So he is actually a type of falcon. He is an American kestrel. So let's bring out Loki. So this is Loki, and he's actually the smallest falcon in North America. He's actually related to the fastest animal in the world. Now who thinks they know what the fastest animal is? Shout it out. Not the peregrine falcon. So some of you guys said cheetah. So cheetah is actually the fastest land animal. But the fastest animal in the world is actually the peregrine falcon. And they can get up to speeds of 240 miles per hour. Now this guy is a bit smaller, so he can only really get up to speeds about 40 miles per hour. Now if you look on his back here and on his head, you see this kind of bluish grayish, and that is how you tell Loki is a boy, because females don't have that coloration. And now I think Loki did a very good job for starting off the show today, so let's give him a round of applause. Sometimes birds don't always do what you want to do. There's a lot of training that's involved with them. So for our next animal, we can find maybe rummaging in the trash or in your backyard. So let's bring out Lulu, the Virginia opossum. And these guys are what I like to call urbanized animals. And what urbanized animals means is that they have an adjustable diet and habitat, so you can find them in a variety of places. Now these guys do have an adjustable diet. They are omnivores. So just like us, omnivores eat plants and meat. Something that I like to do to remember omnivore, I like to say omnomivore, because they eat everything. Now if we look on the back here, we see this kind of naked tail. So this is a semi-prehensile tail, so when these guys are babies, they can actually hang completely from it. But right now, Lulu's a bit too old and heavy to hang from it. So right now she just uses it for balance and climbing in trees and such. So now these guys are actually the only marsupial in all of North America. Who thinks they know some other marsupials? We have some at the zoo, shout them out. Kangaroos, and yeah, maybe koalas just over there. So marsupials are animals that have a pouch in their front of their body where they can keep their young. And as I said, Lulu is actually the only marsupial in all of North America. Now I think Lulu is pretty darn cute. So I think she did a great job. Let's give her a round of applause. Now for our next animal, we can find them in the ground, maybe burrowing in some dirt. They're actually an endemic species, so that means they're only native to around here in the Bay Area. So let's bring out Madeira and Mariposa, our California tiger salamanders. Now I said tiger salamanders. Do you think these guys are actually related to tigers? Nope, they are not. So these guys are just called tiger salamanders because of the coloration on their backs. And these guys are amphibians. So like all other amphibians, they have 4 types of ways they can breathe. They can breathe through their skin, through their lungs, just like us, through their gills when they're still tadpoles, and lastly, they can breathe through their throat, called throat pulsations. Or what we like to call, the more the scientific word, is bucopharyngealism. Now that's kind of a hard word to say, but can we all say it together? Bucopharyngealism. That's right, guys. So these guys also, they have a pretty cool defense mechanism. Who knows what a defense mechanism is? Can anyone shout it out? Well, a defense mechanism is something that an animal does that protects them. So what these guys do, if a scary predator comes by, they can actually secrete poison from their tail. And so now these guys are actually what is called an indicator species. And that means that if you find them in your backyard or maybe even your garden, it's a great place to plant some flowers because the dirt and the air is super clean. And you can find them around here in the Bay Area. And I think these guys did a very good job for these little cute little animals. And they are actually an endangered species. So something that Stanford University has done to help their conservation status is that they've actually dug tunnels underneath roads for them to travel under, because they're often seen getting run over by lots of cars. And they like to migrate after they're born and return to that same pond afterwards. So Stanford has actually dug tunnels underneath those roads for the salamanders to travel under. And as I said, I think these guys did a fantastic job. So let's give them a round of applause and send them back. And for our next animal, you can find this guy up in the Sierra Nevadas. So it's kind of high, so maybe we put on our hiking boots and go on a little hike up in the mountains. And for our next animal, you can see him maybe slithering through the rocky terrain. So let's bring out Tut, our California king snake. Now, I said he's a king snake. Do you think he married a princess? That's why he's a king snake. Well, these guys are actually just called king snakes because they can eat other types of snake, such as rattlesnake, because they're tolerant of their venom. Now, these guys, like all their snakes, how do you guys think they eat? Do you think they eat their meal in one bite or in multiple bites, just like us? Yeah. One bite, right? Now, do you guys eat your meal with one bite? I know my mom wouldn't like that very much. Well, so how these guys eat their meal, they can actually open their jaw twice as wide as we can. They have a special bone in their mouth called the quadrate bone, which allows them to open up really wide so they can eat prey such as other snakes or other smaller mammals. Now, if they want to smell their meal before they eat it, do you guys think they smell the meal through their nose like us? No. So they actually smell with their tongue. So if they want to smell something, they're just stick out their tongue, collect some scent particles, and stick it back up into the roof of their mouth, where they have a Jacobson's organ, which is how they smell. Now, how do we know that Tut here is a snake and not a lizard? Does anyone think they know? Shout it out. Doesn't have legs. Have you guys ever heard of a legless lizard? Well, there is such a thing. So some major differences between the two is that snakes, they don't have ear holes like us, or like lizards. Snakes, they have internal ears. Whereas if you look at a lizard, you're gonna see external ear holes. Now, have any of you guys ever had a staring contest with a snake? No, because you'd probably lose, right? Because snakes, they don't even have eyelids. So with a lizard, you'd be able to have a staring contest because they blink just like us. But snakes, they have a clear scale that goes over their eye called the nictitating membrane. And so they don't have to blink. Now, some other differences is that snakes can't drop their tails. So lizards can actually drop their tail as a major defense mechanism. And now I think Tut here did an excellent job. So let's give him a round of applause.